feel like I'm putting on a Michelin Man suit.
There's a great big tree just here, and it was all rotten out and it was half falling down. We had to get an arborist in to cut it all down. It was right up next to the shed and we didn't want it to fall on the shed or fall that way towards the house. But when he was cutting it down, we worked out there was bees inside. And you guys know that we like to be as self-sufficient as possible. But we knew nothing about beehives. We didn't want to go and get all the stuff for harvesting and everything, harvesting all the honey. So we got a flow hive. If you don't know what a flow hive is, it's something that you don't need to get the honey frame spinners and things like that to extract the honey from the comb. We needed to work out, one, what beehive to get, two, how to get the bees from the tree into the hive, and that was a massive challenge. If you haven't heard of a flow hive before, it's just a way that, it's an Australian invention, and they built a beehive that you can extract the honey from the hive without disrupting the bees, without all the extra gear that you generally need to do traditional honey harvesting. So we bought one of them and we built it. And I've got to tell you, it was like building a Meccano set for adults. We bought everything directly from Flow Hive. The instructions were just really, really, really good. Laid it all out in the workshop, built everything up. Sarah wanted to paint it different colours and stain the wood, so we've painted the roof like a lavender sort of a colour and stained all the wood so it's all weatherproof. And I've got to tell you, it looks the shit. It's really, really good. I'm very impressed with it. The bottom half of a flow hive is essentially the same as any other sort of beehive with the brood box. I'll show you here. This is the hive. The lid comes off. The roof comes off, that's the lid, no bees at all, but you got the regular traditional frames and the bees would build their honeycomb on that frame. So we needed to work out a way to get the bees from the tree into the hive. If you have this same situation where you've got bees and you want to capture those bees and give them a new home, because the home that they currently have is about to be destroyed, find yourself a, what do they call, an apiarist, someone who keeps bees in your local area, and ask them for advice. I have found asking people who keep bees generally want to talk about keeping bees, and they'll give you all the advice that you can. And we were lucky enough that we've got a guy locally who owns a local pub, and he knows all about bees. And he came out and had a look, and he said, Shane, to get the bees out of a tree is virtually impossible. It's just prepare yourself that you're not going to get it. So the bees, they swarmed over to that tree, then they came back to the stump here. They swarmed from here to that tree there, and then we picked them up by hand, put them into the hive, and they didn't really like the hive. They nicked off again, and they ended up underneath this part just in here. So what I did, I set our flow hive up here, put some honey water in there, and to see if hopefully they were like that close together that they would come in and find their new home. That didn't happen. The next day, we found that they'd swarmed from that stump again, and they swarmed up into this tree here. Up into here is where they went, and it just looked like a big black mass of bees, and they were hanging in this branch right here. It didn't go that far. Like this whole area here, all of this was just a cloud of bees, and they were sitting up in there, and over just there behind the horse float on the other side of the fence is where they started. That's the stump over there, and they swarmed up to here. So what I did, I got the flow hive, the brood box, as you saw it just there, and I sat it just here. And what I worked out by looking at YouTube and so forth, the scout bees that get out and about looking for a new hive, a new home for the bees, they release this scent. And lemongrass essential oil is very, very similar, apparently. So use very, very small amounts. I use maybe 1 ml in everywhere. So I put a little bit on a cotton bud, dabbed it on the landing board, and then put the cotton bud inside the hive. That afternoon, I was over the moon because they'd left their swarm up there and they were all in the box. They were all in the brood box, in the hive, and I was stoked. I thought, yeah, I'm a beekeeper, finally, it's working out. This is great, because keep in mind, I know nothing about bees. We've just got a bloke around, he's a mate of ours who he knows about bees, so he helped. And he gave advice and everything else. They were in the hive, and I was over the moon. He said, congratulations, Shane, you are now a beekeeper. Until the next day, because they nicked off again. They decided, if we don't like that box that you built for us, we're leaving. And as you can probably see, we have lots of trees around our place. And I have no idea where they've gone. The bees are gone. They come back a little bit and they into the old bits of honeycomb on the ground here next to the stump that they were in. But we haven't found them yet. We've looked all over the place looking for the bees and we just can't find them. They could be anywhere. Like there's a lot of trees around our place. They could be anywhere, all the way down there, because they'll go a kilometre or two, I guess, when they're swarming. They could be anywhere, absolutely anywhere. But because some of them have come back here to eat the honey from the honeycomb, my gut feeling is they're not that far away. And there's quite a few here looking for the honeycomb. So I think what I'll do is put some more honey water into the hive and maybe some lemongrass essential oil on the landing board again. I might take out the brood honeycomb that we put in there initially. Maybe that put them off because the brood would be dead by now, I would imagine. We'll take that out, leave the frame bare, and we'll see what happens. Stay tuned.